Millions of Americans watched last night's debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. So did financial markets. Some big reactions in the markets today after the debate. I'm here with Riva Gold, our European markets reporter. Riva, what was the most interesting, biggest reaction we saw on the heels of the debate?
So after the debate, you started to see sort of tiny tilts in betting markets, very much like with the UK referendum. Investors were watching carefully, and you saw a huge jump in the Mexican peso against the dollar.
The Mexican peso. Why is the Mexican peso moving on the debate?
The Mexican peso has basically become the sort of risk proxy for Donald Trump in the markets. Donald Trump earlier in his campaign kind of signaled that he was interested in renegotiating certain key trade deals, relooking at NAFTA, and also potentially building a wall between the two countries. So the Mexican economy has become really tied to the sort of Trump risk in the market recently.
This is a country where we speak English, not Spanish.
They're going to be deported. Look, we either have a country or we don't. You're going to have a deportation force.
We're building a wall. He's a Mexican.
That wall will go up so fast, your head will spin.
So the Mexican peso is basically a Donald Trump peso these days. It's sort of not really moving on what's happening in Mexico, moving on what's happening in the U.S.
It would appear to be. I mean, in the market, sort of speculators have put near kind of record short positions against the peso, and it's fallen about 12% or so since August as polls have kind of tightened in the U.S. elections. So it's pretty interesting how it's been driven almost entirely by U.S. election risk lately.
That is very bizarre. What are we seeing elsewhere in the markets after the debate? How did it play out?
So right after the debate, you had a reversal in Asian markets. Stocks picked up. U.S. sensitive shares in particular rose in Hong Kong. U.S. futures reversed losses to move higher, and European stocks also initially opened higher before sort of returning to focus on European-specific problems.
It'll be a very interesting next 40 days or so before the election. Thank you, Riva.
Thanks very much.